Alright, y'all, what up, what up, fam? I know it's been a minute, but I'm here for another Nas reaction breakdown. So my reactions are me listening to the song, reacting to it, but I like to break things down. What's the word I'm looking for? Like literary sense, you know what I mean? Because Nas is my favorite rapper, as I've said, and I look at a lot of Nas's work as like a work of literature, or it might be an essay, or it might be a story. So today I'm going to be doing the track I Love This Feeling from the album Magic 3, which was Nas's latest album. And this one isn't a classic sort of storytelling, you know, ABC type of Nas track. This one is, it's almost like an article, you know what I mean? It's almost like a column you'd see in the Wall Street Journal or whatever, you know, Nas using some idioms and also bragging a bit, talking his shit, you know what I'm saying? So without further ado, let's get into it.
Yeah, see I'm going where I've been, know how you feel.
And right off the bat, man, I want to give a big shout out to Hit Boy for Nas's production. As soon as this track came on, initially I'm like, oh man, this reminded me of some smooth Marvin Gaye type stuff. Well, this sample was sampled from Billy Paul. For, you know, my older music aficionados out there, you'll know Billy Paul, me and Mrs. Jones. So this one is from Billy Paul track called I Think I'll Stay Home Today. But yeah, man, I just love this smooth R&B flavor coming in right off the top.
I see you going where I've been. I know how you feel. Was at the same place you were now in. You shouting, announcing. You want to win with similar-minded men with great business acumen. We can make an acquisition to the topic turn from tight pockets to high profits. To life assurance, at what age do we all cop it? Fuck who the hottest? Who really stand up? Who really messing with the dead man girl? That says everything about that man world. Energy transfer, immortality.
That beat come in.
Morality don't come around me. Homicidal vinyl section where they always found me.
Alright, I'm gonna pause it right there, fam. Like, that beat came in hard, man. That beat come in and it's just like, that shit's just knocking you in the head. But not in an aggressive way, it's smooth. So, right off the bat, my man Nas start with some ill bars as usual. He's like, I see where you're going, I know how you feel, I see where you've been. So here, he's just like, posing a question and offering some inspiration, you know, to artists or whoever, whatever you're doing out there. He's like, you know, I used to be where you was at. Like, if you're going through hard times, you feeling like you're down on your luck, he's like, I know where you was at, but you got to see it, you got to think it, you got to speak it into existence, and you got to manifest it, you know what I mean? This opening was smooth, man. And then the next line is like, till the topic turned from tight pockets to high profits, to life insurance at what age we all cop it. Here, Esco is on his like real grown man shit, you know what I'm saying? He's talking about life insurance and getting your stuff in order, and this is the evolution of Nas, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I appreciate about the way Nas is evolving, is like, you know, and me being a fan of Nas as a kid, through the 90s, you know what I mean, he's evolving, he's talking about real life stuff, but still, you know, talking some ish on the track, and he's not trying to be like the 25-year-old talking about being up in the club, you know what I mean? Like, his music is evolving as he's growing. Alright, so let's get back into it.
You can make an acquisition to the topic turn from tight pockets to high profits. To life assurance, at what age do we all cop it? Fuck who the hottest? Who really stand up? Who really messing with the dead man girl? That says everything about that man world. Energy transfer, immortality. You against morality, don't come around me. Homicidal vinyl section where they always found me. By the motion picture soundtrack.
right, pause it right there. Pause it right there. So, you know, my man is like, yo, remember the track No Bad Energy. It's like certain types of energy I don't want around me. But that part of the verse right there, fuck who the hottest, who really stand up. Again, Esco is on his grown man bag, you know what I mean, fam? At this point in his life, in his career, he's saying he don't really care who's the hottest. And it starts beautifully flowing into like the street morality thing, like, yo, don't mess with your dead man's girl, you know what I mean? Or if your man is locked up north doing a bid, don't be trying to slide on his baby mama, you know what I mean? So so that's just some grown man shit, taking it back to some street morality, some real street dude stuff. And then he get into like energy transferal. You know, if you're a fan of Nas and been listening to his music forever, Nas has always slid some spirituality and some reincarnation stuff into his work. You know, he's like on the song Big Nas is like a man's reincarnated through his child. You know what I mean? And here he's dipping into that bag again. You know, because a lot of different religions and philosophies believe that as one passes or transcends from this physical plane, their energy is transferred, whether it be into another universe or another space or a heavenly place or reincarnation. You know, so I like that bar, man. That bar is ill. And then, where was I at? Then he got into the homicidal vinyl section where they always found me, by the motion picture soundtrack with Richard Roundtree on the album sleeve. So, especially for the youngins, Richard Roundtree was Shaft. You know, so here Nas is weaving in that cinematic theme into this track, and you know Nas is a big fan of film, especially older film. He's weaving in that cinematic theme into the track. So another thing I like about Nas is that he always, I think Nas is the best reminisce rapper of all time. So he's always weaving in the past with what's happening now. And as opposed to a lot of the rappers of his era, you know, in the 50s and early 50s age group, I think Nas does the best job out of the rappers of that era of weaving in stuff from their past, you know, their youth when they was in their 20s, whatever, with what's happening now. So, you know, he talking about vinyl, homicidal vinyl, you know what I mean, is where you always found me. And then he mentioned the soundtrack, and it's like, people don't buy vinyls like that no more, you know what I mean? A lot of these younger fans, younger music consumers, they'll have like their Apple and their Spotify, and I love this bar, fam. This whole bar about the homicidal vinyl. As a literary tool, I'm not quite sure how I'd classify that, but that bar is ill.
Energy transfer, immortality. You against morality, don't come around me. Homicidal vinyl section where they always found me. By the motion picture soundtrack with Richard Roundtree on the album sleeve. That's my era shit. Musical excellence, hot like on a detective list. It's simple shit that's keeping you from the shift. You a sim, a trick, or in love with your own dick. Distractions, they come in all ways. I just keep it calm, watching it all play out like it's supposed to. Old dudes playing chess in the park.
Alright. So this part of the verse before Esco flows into the hook, he's like musical excellence, hot like a detective list. So again, just a little bit of callback. Richard Roundtree, Shaft, who was a detective or a PI. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I love about Esco, is that he set up bars in one part of the verse, and then 4 or 5 lines later, he makes a callback to that bar. And that's what I like about rap and art of this caliber, is that you got to think about it, you know what I'm saying? So he set up that bar with the detective, Richard Roundtree, and then later he's making a callback to that bar. That is so dope, man. And even looking at like different art forms, like say stand-up comedy. If you're a fan of stand-up comedy like I am, you know, and you watch the greats like Dave Chappelle, Richard Pryor, you know, they'll say a joke, and then that like 4 or 5 lines later they'll make a callback to that joke, you know, with the punchline, and you're like, heck yeah, you know what I mean? You get it. So that's what I love about Nas, man. At this part of the verse, he's saying like, don't get distracted by thinking with your dick, you know what I mean? For lack of a better term, not trying to be crass, but you know, don't get pulled away by the distractions of the flesh. If you looking at a goal and you trying to make a come up. There's an old track, I think it was the N-word tape he did with Stickman. That was before the Untitled album, aka the Nigger tapes. When on the track with him and Stickman, when he was like, you lose money chasing women, never lose women chasing money. You know, I feel like that this line is a callback to that line. You a simp, a trick, or in love with your own dick. Distractions, they come in all ways. He's saying distractions come in all forms. So don't get distracted, fam. You know what I mean? If you're on a goal, you messing with shorties and you know they ain't trying to move, or she ain't trying to move the way you trying to move, you know what I'm saying? You might have to move on. But that's just an ill line, man. Then I love the next line. He goes into the hook, fam. Here he's like juxtaposing 2 different scenarios. You know what I mean? It's like 2 dudes. He's saying like if you interchange a dude playing chess in the park or a dude playing chess in prison, if you switch them, like it's just circumstances why one would be in one place and one would be in another place. You know what I mean? And even if you think about it in terms of like our social movement, you know, black men get arrested at greater rates for like the same misdemeanors or whatever than their counterparts. So it's just like the luck of the draw. One brother might end up over here in a good job, good benefits, you know, driving expensive cars, and another brother end up in the penal system. So that bar was just excellent, the way he juxtaposed the 2 positions, man. That's ill. And then he goes into the hook. All right, let me back up just a little bit.
Playing chess in prison, staying on good behavior. I didn't know I'm playing out like it's supposed to. Old dudes playing chess in the park. Old dudes playing chess in prison, staying on good behavior for extra business. If they was in switch places, could you tell a difference? It's perspective, isn't it? A team that's militant, a girl that's woman on your side that get it in. The realest, I love this feeling. If you don't have a team that's militant, you better be brilliant.
Oh man, like this hook is so dope and so smooth, man. Like every time I play this album and you get into that hook, I'm just, whether I'm in my Jeep or whatever, sometimes I'll be at a light, I'm just grooving to this track, man. It's just, the sample is mixed in so brilliantly and so beautiful. Yo, chef kiss the Hit Boy and Nas, man. This is so dope. And then he sprinkles in just a bit of narration. You know what I mean? That just set it off to a different level.
I love this feeling. If you don't have no team that the realest, I love this feeling. If you don't have a team that's militant, you better be brilliant. I love this feeling. If you don't have no team that's militant, be mentally equipped. I love this feeling. Watch everybody. That's why I love my team. I love this feeling. Keep calm to watch everything. It's your monthly subscription to the Slums Edition. The new it was written. Get your hard copies of Blockology, coming from the one who lived in a bowl for goldfish. I never saw my soul, just evolve shock rap. That what you never been told shit. Cold part, Illmatic, go through that episode of Ozone.
Alright, pause it, fam, because the way Esco came out of the hook into this next verse, it's just like masterful writing, and the video is apropos, man, like him teaching a class, because this is just a master class in writing. It's like he come out and said, get your monthly subscription to the Slums Edition. Again, just sort of relating and reminiscing back to the past, you know what I mean? Like back in the day, I used to have a subscription to, was it XXL or The Source? But you used to have all these dope hip hop magazines, and a lot of people that could afford it, you would have a subscription, so it would get delivered. A lot of people like me at some points in my life, especially as a teen, I'd go to the store to get my copy, you know what I mean? And then this right here, I think as a literary device, this is alliteration, because he's playing with similar sounding words to just hit you in the face with that bar. And then he said, like, it's the new "it was written." So, being a fan of Nas, the classic Illmatic, then "It Was Written" came out, and like a lot of people, they like to compare "It Was Written" and Illmatic. Like, I hold them both in the same regard. You might be saying, nah, dude, that's impossible. Yo, fam, I hold them both in the same regard, man, because I was really young when Illmatic came out. I got a little older by the time "It Was Written" came out. So I actually bought "It Was Written." I heard Illmatic, but I actually physically bought with my with my little money I saved up. I actually bought "It Was Written" before Illmatic. So I love "It Was Written," and then I'm guessing maybe Magic 1 could be considered the Illmatic, or maybe it was King's Disease followed, and then King's Disease 3 is the new "It Was Written." And I love the way Nas really incorporate big words into his rap, man. He incorporate big words into his rap in a way that's relatable and that you have to think about, you know what I mean? Blockology. Get your hard copies of Blockology. And then the next line is such a layered and complex line that you got to think about this to see how dope this line is. It's like coming from a one who lived in a bowl. For goldfish, I never sold my soul. So he's saying, like, Nas is from Queensbridge, he's referring to Queensbridge back in the days, the slums, the gutter, whatever. It was real grimy, shit was popping, dudes was getting shot, you know what I mean? But he's like, coming from this rough environment, like, he never sold his soul. He never did no underhanded shit to his peers, his homeboys, his team, or whatever, to get ahead. You know what I mean? He never sold out his souls just to get up out of there. You know what I mean? He never went for the goal, for the shiny new thing just to get out the hood and get out the project. So that was such an ill line, man. And that line to me, I think you could consider that an idiom. I think you could consider that an idiom. And then the next two lines, fam, is like, it's so crazy. Get your hard copies of Blockology. I love the infusion of that big word, man. It's like poetry, fam. He never sold his soul. That's just brilliance, He never sold his soul. Got up out the slums through brilliance and hard work, man. That's crazy. That's just masterful writing.
Subscription to the slums edition. The new "It Was Written." Get your hard copies of Blockology, coming from the one who lived in a bowl for goldfish. I never sold my soul, just evolved shock rap. That what you never been told shit. Cold part, Illmatic, go through that episode of Ozark. I think that's harder than if I had co-star a ghetto symphony. I'm Chief Keith Ozark. Mixed with Mozart.
All right. I gotta pause it right there, man, because the next line after he went through never sold his soul or whatever, the next bar is so hard. And if you're not in tune with like pop culture and you're just not thinking through it, you're gonna miss it, fam. So he said, what never been told shit. Then he said, cold part, Illmatic all the way through the episode of Ozark. I think that's harder than if I had co-stars. So recently, I just got caught up on the final season of Ozark because I've been busy. I did a little movie. I dipped down to Texas for a little bit. So I was watching episode 8, I think it is, in season 4, and I was so geeked up. I was like, oh, babe. My girlfriend had to be like, babe, calm down, because she knows I'm the biggest Nas fan. So episode 8, it's like they interlace Illmatic through the entire episode, fam. It was so dope. I finished the season, but I'm gonna go back and watch that episode. And another thing that got me so excited about that episode is because I work in film and television, and a lot of the locations they filmed that episode in Atlanta, I've filmed in those locations before. Especially in that diner scene when she runs across Killer Mike. Like, I've filmed in that diner like twice, you know, and I go there from time to time to get a slice of cheesecake. So that was like so dope to me, man. And it's like the cold part, Illmatic all the way through Ozark. And he's saying, I think that's harder than if I had co-starred. That's just how ill and how high in esteem Illmatic is as a work of art, that he's saying even if he had co-starred, like, that wouldn't have been as dope for that episode as it was with them playing Illmatic. That was just like such a crazy great bar, man. And then he gets into the next line, I get a symphony. All right, I'm gonna let it ride for a little bit.
To the Slums edition, the new it was written. Get your hard copies of Blockology coming from the one who lived in a bowl for goldfish. I never sell my soul, just evolve shock rap. That what you never been told shit. Cold part, Illmatic, go through that episode of Ozark. I think that's harder than if I had co-star a ghetto symphony. I'm Chief Keef, Ozark, mixed with Mozart. It's ill when you get bags for your own art. $1 million sing for algebra or rap. But they ain't understanding when it drop. Yo, how cool is that? They asking if I'm ever gonna be over rap. But I left a few times, just never told you that. A massive shit.
Alright, I'm gonna pause it right there. So the next lines he get into, a ghetto symphony, I'm Chief Keef, Ozark, mixed with Mozart. So there was a track back in the 80s. It was really East Coast dude, the Symphony. And then there was the Ghetto Symphony with Snoop Dogg. I think he was on No Limit at the time, but he had like a lot of the ill dudes on No Limit at the time. It was called Ghetto Symphony. And I just listened to that track again the other day, and that track was dope, man. That track was dope. I know Snoop get a lot of grief for his No Limit era, but that track was dope. And then, you know, Chief Keef had that hard mixtape or mix CD or whatever you want to call it these days, called Ozark. Not too, well, it's been a while, but Chief Keef had that, and that was hard. So he's saying, like, and again, that's like a callback to the previous line about Illmatic being in Ozark, right? So what I think what Nas is saying here, he's taking these two hard pieces of work, you know, by dope MCs, Ghetto Symphony and Ozark by Chief Keef, and saying like, yo, like this track is a combination of those two, how complicated and hard it is, mixed with Mozart, who is this historic artist, you know, this historic composer who is held in such high esteem. So Illmatic's got to be held in that high esteem, and this track is as hard as the collection of MCs that did the Ghetto Symphony and the Ozark, man. Like that's just like some real deep, complex code, you know, like you got to read between the lines to get those bars, fam. You know what I mean? And then and right here, he's bragging about his own art, you know what I mean? You know? He's like, it's when you get bags for your own art. You know what I mean? So he's like, yo, it's cold when you get when you're making money off your own high class, high quality art. You know what I mean? You're sinking $1 million, and then he's like the Al Jarreau of rap. The Al Jarreau of rap. That's what I love about these kind of bars. You gotta think about, fam. And then for the youngins who don't know, Al Jarreau, he was on that We Are the World record too. But Al Jarreau, a little history lesson, man. He's an old school singer. Like, some people might say he was more jazz than R&B. Some people might say he was more pop than R&B. Some people might say he was more R&B than pop. But Al Jarreau, his album back in the early 80s, fam, like that album that he put out, spent how long? 2 years, bro. 2 years on the Billboard Top 200. I don't think any work of art, any piece of music in today's environment is gonna stay on the charts that long, because I think we live in like this microwave society, fam, especially for like young folks. I got younger siblings. Like something that's hot to them today, like 2 weeks later, they throw it away. They don't even like remember that. And like I kind of wonder about this generation, if they're gonna like hold works of art, 10, 15, 20 years down the line in the high esteem and regard that they should. I don't know, fam. That's an existential question, especially with this whole AI generated shit that's going on. Me as a designer, I think about things like that. Let's go in.
Physical money, they different, we outlast them. We outclass them, they made it easy to pass them. I love this feeling.
Oh man.
Keep it calm, watching it all play. I call us at the accent if I...
Alright, so I'm gonna pause it a little bit, and then I'm gonna run that back. But this part of the verse right here is so ill and so complex and layered with subtext, fam. You gotta like really think about it. So you gotta call back to some of Nas's earlier work. Even remembering what album now. I don't remember what album, but there was one line that I remember vividly when he was like, I got money, I got paper, lost it, then made it back. Because if you follow Nas's career and his trajectory, there was a point where he was this new kid on the scene, got the record advance, had cash, then he went broke. He even noted this, that he went back to hustling for a little bit before he bounced back, So he's saying he had money, lost it, got it back. But in this particular bar, in this particular part of the verse, he's like, they asking if he's over rap. And, if you follow Nas's career, there's been a few times when he'd step back, other rappers are popping, then Nas would pop back out, He's like, I left a few times, just never told y'all that. He's like amassing digital assets. And if you're following Nas's business moves, he's big into crypto and tech investments and all that. So he's like, yo fam, I'm amassing digital assets. He's like, I'm thinking different. I'm not thinking about physical money, being rich with physical money like when I was a young dude, when I was a street dude coming up. No fiscal year kickbacks, we cashing. He's like, physical money ain't even the thing. He's evolved so much beyond that right now. He's like, he's a business and tech mogul at this point. He's not like really dependent on music money. And if you follow Nas and his business movement, yo, Esco, holla at your boy, that like all this touring and stuff he's doing, like, it ain't even so much about music money for him no more. And as a literary device, this portion of this verse, I'm thinking it's a double entendre, because there's so much subtext in these lines of the verse, man. You got to really think about it to get the bars. No fiscal year kickbacks. Like, he ain't got to wait on residual checks. That's just so ill, man. And he's like, we outlast him, we outclassed him. And he's like, they made it easy to pass him. I love this feeling. Then he gets back into the hook. And even doing a callback to one of Nas's recent work, I think it was King's Disease 2, when Nas is good. Yeah, he's like, how's the line again? He's like, catching up to those who had a head start. Used to act a fool in Queensbridge Park. So he's like, a lot of people who used to like be super paid or whatever, he's gone above and beyond where they're at right now. You know, so this part of the bar is complex, it's deep, and it's also a little braggy. Like this is what gets me, and this is why I love Nas and other lyrical rappers, you know, of this ilk that are master rappers, master writers. Their pen game is ill. Like that whole thing, as complex as that verse in, it's just a brag like, yo fam, I got mad money. That's all this verse, this part of the verse is about. It's like, yo fam, I got mad money. So I'm gonna run that back. It's just so crazy, deep, and complex.
I think that's harder than if I had co-star a ghetto symphony. I'm cheap, keep Mozart. Mixed with Mozart. It's hell when you get bags for your whole art. $1 million sing for algebra and rap. But they ain't understanding when it drop. Yo, how cool is that? They asking if I'm ever gonna be over rap. But I left a few times, just never told you that. Amassing digital assets. No fiscal get kickbacks, yeah, we cash it. Physical money, they different, we outlast them. We outclass them, they made it easy to pass them. I love this feeling. I just keep it calm, watching it all play out like it's supposed to.
Yeah, fam, that whole bar about digital assets and all that is just a brag. Like, yo, fam, I got mad money, and this is why I'm such a huge Nas fan, man. I love complex raps, complex bars. You got to think about. Like, I'm not for the simple-minded shit, my dude. How many times have you heard people, I'm getting money, I got mad money, I got mad bitches? Like, it seems like that's a prerequisite for every song. Gotta be like, I got mad money, I got so much money, I got mad. Like, nah, fam. You gotta come up with more creative ways to elevate your art, you know what I'm saying? And no disrespect and no hate or whatever. I'm not gonna buy your stuff. I'm not gonna come to your shows. Like, I wanna go to shows and listen to shit that I gotta think about. I gotta be like, wait, what? Run that back. Let me get it. Anyway, here we go. So, goes through the complex bars and just ride into the hook, fam. Here we go.
Kickbacks, yeah, we cash it. Physical money, they different, we outlast them. We outclass them, they made it easy to pass them. I love this feeling. I just keep it calm, watching it all play out like it's supposed to. Old dudes playing chess in the park. Old dudes playing chess in prison. Staying on good behavior for extra visits. If they was to switch places, could you tell a difference? It's perspective, isn't it? A team that's militant. A down-ass woman by your side that get it in. The realest, I love this feeling. Every day we do whatever we want. Can't front. Yo, I love this feeling. Getting dressed, getting fly, just to go to the studio. Hey yo, I love this feeling. Hey yo, tomorrow I'm juicing for the rest of the week. Just because I love this feeling. And Big Bro got his ankle bracelet, took off today, yo. Getting on a private jet, I love this feeling. Yeah, I love this feeling.
Alright, fam, so that was Nas. I love this feeling from the album Magic 3. Please give me a like, give me a subscribe. I'm trying to grow this channel, you know, and then I'll grow this channel, blow it up so I can do more reaction, more reviews, more breakdowns or analysis, because even though I title it breakdown, for me it's more of analysis of literary works, you know, as rap, as literary works. So please give me a subscription. I'm trying to grow this channel. I don't know when my next movie or TV show is, so hopefully I'm gonna be able to flood the zone with some more content before I get back on a project. Because once I'm on a film, you probably won't have as much time. So I'm gonna try to flood the zone over the next few weeks to try to get as many track reviews done as I can. Until next time, peace.